So let's solve paper 2-2 for October-November 2021. Question number 1, part A. Jasmine buys a family holiday to India. Here's some information about the cost. So you have flights, hotel, and then the total cost. In October, Jasmine pays a deposit of 12% of the total cost. She pays the rest of the total cost in December. Calculate the amount she pays in December. So amount paid in December you have to calculate. So she paid 12% of the cost. So that means 100% minus 12%. The remaining cost is 88% of the total cost. So paid in December is 88% of 2250, which is 0.88. 88 divided by 100 multiplied by 2250. So 0.88 multiplied by 2250, $1,980. Find the ratio of cost of flights, ratio cost of hotel. Give your answer in its simplest form. So cost of flights is 700. Ratio cost of hotel is 1,550. Zeros and zero cancel out. 70 ratio 155. I can divide by 5 on both sides. So 5 ones are 5, 2 remaining 20, 14, 5 threes are 15 and 1. So 14 ratio 31, and this is the simplest form. I cannot further simplify it. So 14 ratio 31. Jasmine changes $350 into rupees. You're given the exchange rate. On holiday, she spends 19,500 and changes the rest back to dollars at the same rate. Calculate the amount of money she receives. So you have dollars ratio rupees 1 ratio 71.6. So she converts $350 into rupees. So 350 ratio x. I will cross multiply. So x times 1 equals to 350 multiplied by 71.6. 25,060 rupees. So she spends 9,500. So remaining rupees would be 25,060 minus 19,500. So minus 19500. So 5,560 rupees that she converts them back to dollars. So again, dollar ratio rupees 1 ratio at the same rate 71.6. So you have now 5,560 and x, again cross multiply. So 71.6x equals to 5560. So x will be this divided by 71.6, which is $77.65. So this is the amount of dollars she receives at the end when she converts the remaining rupees into dollars. 77.65. Question number, part C. The table shows the number of tourists and the total tourist spending for some countries in 2016. So your number of tourists and total spending in dollars. Calculate how many more tourists visited India than Kenya in 2016. Give your answer in standard form. So you have to find basically the difference between number of tourists who visited India and Kenya. So India is larger because more tourists visited India. So 1.46 into 10 power 7 minus how many visited Kenya? 1.27 into 10 power 6. So I need to make the powers of 10 same before I can subtract them. So I will move this decimal one place to the left. So this will become 0.1 0.127, and I will increase this power by 1. So now I have both powers same. So I will have 10 power 7 common and 1.46 minus 0.127. 1.333 into 10 power 7, and this is already in standard form. Part 2, calculate the average amount spent per tourist in China in 2016. Give your answer correct to the nearest dollars. So you have how many tourists in China? 5.93 into 10 power 7. And how many dollars were spent? 4.44 into 10 power 10. So now you have to calculate amount spent per tourist. So for one tourist or per tourist, you will have 4.44 into 10 power 10 divided by 5.93 into 10 power 7. So I can do this division. 4.44 divided by 5.93. So this is 0.7487 into 10 power 10 minus 7, because they are being divided, so the powers will be subtracted. So 10 minus 7 is 3. So that means I have to move the decimal 3 places to the right if I'm multiplying with 10 power 3. So 1, 2, 3. So this will be 748.7. And now you have to round it to the nearest dollar. So this is 7 here. So this will be rounded up to 749. So your answer here is $749. From 2014 to 2016, the total amount uh, spent by tourists in Madagascar increased by 23.5%. Calculate the amount spent by tourists in Madagascar in 2014. So let's call that amount spent in 2014 equal to X, and then amount spent in 2016, it increased by 23.5%. So it was 100%, it increased to 123.5%. So in 2016, the amount would be 123.5% of X. Or if I remove this percentage sign, it will be divided by 100. So this will be 1.235 multiplied by x, which is equals to 1.235x. So this is the amount spent by tourists in 2016 in terms of x, and we are given in 2016 Madagascar, it's 9.13 into 10 power 5. So this is equal to 9.13 into 10 power 5, and x will be, so 9.13 divided by 1.235. 7.39 into 10 power 5 dollars. So 7.39 into 10 power 5. Question number 2, part A. The pie chart summarizes the ages of people at a science fair. So you have under 16, 16 to 20, and so on. Write down the model class. The model class would be the one which has the highest number of people in it. So which class has the highest number of people? The class which has the greatest angle in this pie chart, which is this 144 degree. So your model class is 16 to 20 because it has the highest number of people or in this age group. There were 90 people aged over 30 at the science fair. Calculate the number of people aged 16 to 20. So you have angle in degrees, and then you have number of people. So 90 people aged over 30. So over 30 is this group. What is the angle? 54 degrees. And how many people are there? 90. And then what is the angle for the age group 16 to 20? 144. And we want to calculate the number of people, so let's call them X. Again, these are the angle is directly proportional to number of people. So greater the angle here in the pie chart, more the number of people in that age group. So I will cross multiply here. So I have 54x equals to 144 into 90. So x will be 144 into 90 and then divided by 54. So you have 240 people in this age group of 16 to 20. Part B is 250 students entered a science competition. The table summarizes their scores. So you have scores, ranges or class width here, class intervals, and then the frequency. So 36 students scored between 0 and 40 in this science competition. 48 students scored between 40 and 60 and so on. Complete the histogram to represent this data. So on x-axis you have the score, and on y-axis you have the frequency density. So first we need to calculate all of the frequency densities before we can complete the histogram. So I will add another row here of frequency density. So frequency density is frequency divided by the class width. Class width here is 40 minus 0, 40, and frequency is 36. So 36 divided by 40, 0.9. Here, my class width is 20, 60 minus 40 is 20, and frequency is 48. So 48 divided by 20, 2.4. 64 divided by 10, class width is 10, which is 6.4. 60 divided by, again, class width is 10, so 6. 42 divided by 20. 42 divided by 20 is 2.1. So now let's complete the histogram. So for the first interval 0 to 40, my frequency density is 0.9. So each small block here represents 0.2, 0.2, 0.4, 6, 8, 0.8 and 1. So 0.9 will be in the middle here between 0.8 and 0.8 and 1. So my histogram 0 to 40, the height is 0.9, so it will look something like this in the middle. And then 40 to 60 I have 2.4, so 2.2, 2.4 here. Then 60 to 70 I have 6.4, 6, 6.2, 6.4. This is already drawn, and 80 to 100 I have 2.1. So this is 2, this is 2.2. So 2.1 will be in the middle between 2 and 2.2. So 80 to 100 I have 2.1, which is here. So that's how you will complete your histogram. Students who scored 75 or more are awarded a distinction. Find an estimate for the percentage of the 250 students who were awarded a distinction. So to find the first percentage, we first need to find how many students actually were awarded this distinction. So number of students who scored 75 or more. So let's look at the table. So how many students scored 75 or more? Definitely these 42 because they scored between 80 and 100. So 42 plus. So now this interval is 70 to 80. But we are interested right in the middle. How many scored 75 or more? So a good way to solve this is, since we have 60 students in this full interval, and if our boundary is in the middle, we can evenly split them 30 on each side to get a good estimate. Remember, the question asks for an estimate. That's why it's asking for an estimate, because in this interval you really don't know how many students scored more than 75. Maybe it could have been like this as well, where 40 scored more than 75 and 20 scored between 70 and 75, but total 60 were in this interval. So since we are being asked for an estimate, and since 75 is right in the middle of this class width, we can estimate that maybe 30 scored between 70 to 75 and 30 scored 75 or more. So we can evenly split them because the boundary or the number we are looking for is right in the middle of this class width. So we can say 30 scored 75 or more and 30 scored less than 75 to make up this 60, which is between 70 and 80. So 42 plus 30, and of course all of the rest of the intervals are less than 75. So since we are interested only in students who scored 75 or more, this will be our number. So 72 students scored 75 or more. So percentage will be number of students who scored 75 or more, 72 divided by total number of students, which is 250, and then multiplied by 100. So 72 divided by 250 and then multiplied by 100. So this is 28.8% of students were awarded a distinction. So 28.8%. Question number 3, part A, complete the table for y equals to x cube over 2 minus 3x minus 1. So the missing value is when x equals to minus 3. So let's substitute x equals to minus 3 here. Minus 3 to the power 3 divided by 2 minus 3 times minus 3 minus 1. So this will be 9, 3s are 27, minus 27 over 2. This will become plus 9 minus 1. So minus 27 divided by 2 plus 9 minus 1 minus 5.5. Part B is on the grid, draw the graph of y equals to x cube over 2 minus 3x minus 1. So let's plot these points here. First is minus 3 and minus 5.5. So minus 3. So each small block on the y-axis represents a value of zero point 0.2. So minus 5 is here, minus 5.2, 5.4. So 5.5 will be in the middle of this block, small block. Minus 2 and 1. Minus 1 and 1.5. So 1.5 will be in the middle here. 0 and minus 1. 1 and minus 3.5 will be here. 2 and minus 3. And then 3 and 3.5. 3 will be here and 3.5 is this here in the middle. So these are the points. Now we will try to join them through a smooth curve. So let's try that. So it will look something like this. Part C is use your graph to explain why x cubed minus 6x minus 2 has only one solution. So if we look at the graph that we're given, it's for this equation. Let me rewrite it down here. We are given graph for y equals to x cubed over 2 minus 3x minus 1. So now first I need to convert one side of this equation into this form and then see what's left on the other side so that we can explain why there is only one solution. So I have x cubed here minus 6x minus 2. So I have x cubed over 2. So let's divide this whole equation by 2 on both sides. So divide by 2 here and divide by 2 here. Or on the left hand side, we can say we are dividing by 2 for each value here. So I will have x cubed over 2 minus 6x divided by 2 will be minus 3x. Minus 2 divided by 2 will be minus 1. And on the right hand side, I will have 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Now, my left hand side looks exactly the same, the equation that is given in the question. And the right hand side is 3. So that means the other equation is y equals to 3. So if you try to solve them simultaneously, there is only one solution. Um, Here, if you substitute y equals to 3 in this equation, you get the same one that we are given here. So if you try to solve them simultaneously and eliminate the variable y, we end up with this equation. But since now we are looking at it from a graphical perspective, that means these two lines, or the graph of this equation and the graph of this equation, has only one solution. That means they intersect at only one point. So we are already given this graph. Let's look at the graph of y equals to 3. So y equals to 3 is a straight line like this. So this is y equals to 3. And we can already see that they intersect only at this one point. So that means there is only one solution. So in the explanation, we can write line y equals to 3 intersects the graph of y equals to x cubed over 2 minus 3x minus 1 only once. So the line of y equals to 3 intersects the graph of y equals to x cubed over 2 minus 3x minus 1 only once. There is only one intersection point. That's why there is only one solution. Part D is a line L passes through these points on the grid. Draw line L. So you have one point is 1, 1, and the other one is minus 2 and minus 1. So let's plot this. First point is 1, 1. So 1, 1 is here. And the other point is minus 2 and minus 1. So minus 2 and minus 1 will be here. So let's draw a straight line through these 2 points. So this is your line L. Work out the gradient of line L. So you're already given 2 points. I will use these 2 points to find the gradient M. So let's use this y2 minus y1, which is 1 minus minus 1, divided by x2 minus x1, which is 1 minus minus 2. So this becomes plus, and then add them 2. This also ends up 1 plus 2, which is 3. So your gradient is 2 over 3 for the line L. Find the x coordinates of the points where line L intersects the curve. So the curve is already drawn here and line L is here. So there are 3 intersection points. The first one is this one. So it's in the middle of this small block. So it will be here. Actually, let me mark it with a green line. So this is the first intersection. The second one is this here. And the third one is almost on this line here. So this value here, so on the x-axis, each small block represents 0.1. So this is minus 2.5, this is minus 2.6. So it is in between. So I can call it minus 2.55. This is minus 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, minus 0.35. So it's in the middle here. And this is 2.9. So you have three intersection points, and the three x values are minus 2.55, minus 0.35, and the third one was 2.9. Yep. Question number 4, part A. Here are the first three patterns in a sequence made from counters. Pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. Complete the table for the patterns in this sequence. So you have pattern number 1. They are made from 8 counters. 6 plus 2, 8. Pattern number 2 is made out of 12. Pattern number 3 is 16. So you have to write the number of counters in pattern number 4 and 5. So if you look at this sequence here, each time you are adding 4. 8 plus 4, 12. 12 plus 4, 16. So 16 plus 4, 20. And 20 plus 4, 24. Find an expression in terms of n for the number of counters in pattern n. So if you look at the pattern number and the number of patterns, let's establish a sequence here. Number of counters, sorry. So pattern number 1, you have 8 counters. Pattern number 2, you added 4, 8 plus 4. Pattern number 3, you added another 4 to the previous number, so 8 plus 4 plus 4. Pattern number 4, you added another 4 to the previous number, so previous number was 8 plus 4, and then another 4. So if you look at this, you are adding 8 plus 4 times 1. This is 8 plus how many times 4? 4 times 2. This is 8 plus 4 times 3. So how many 4s do you add each time? Here you are adding 3 when your pattern number is 4. Here you are adding 2 when your pattern number is 3. Here you are adding 1, 4 when your pattern number is 2. So each time the number of 4s you add is 1 less than the pattern number. So pattern number 4, you're adding 3 4s. So for the nth pattern, the number of counters will equal 8 plus 4 times n minus 1, because the number of 4s you add is 1 less than the pattern number. So here your pattern number is n. So how many 4s you will add? N minus 1 4s. So now if I open the bracket, I will get 8 plus 4n minus 4. 8 minus 4 is 4, so you will get 4n plus 4. So for number of counters in pattern n is 4n plus 4. This is your final answer. Part 3 is Jamal has 150 counters. He uses these counters to make the largest pattern possible, pattern P. Find the value of P. So your pattern number is now P. So I'll substitute P here. And how many counters are used? 150 counters. It doesn't necessarily mean that all 150 are used. It could be you have used 140 something. So we have to find what is the largest possible pattern that can be made from 150 counters. So pattern number is P. So in place of N, I will have P here, 4P plus 4, which should give me the total counters used, which are 150. So now I have to find the largest possible integer value of P, because P is the pattern number. So it cannot be a decimal. You cannot have let's say 5.5 pattern number. So each time it is an integer value. So let's solve for p here. So 4p will be 150 minus 4 will be 146. P will be 146 divided by 4, which is 36.5. So you cannot make 36.5 patterns. So your integer value of P will be 36. That means you will have some leftover counters. Uh, when you're using 150 counters, you can make pattern number 36. And if you want to double check, you can do that as well. So if you substitute 36 here, 36 into 4 plus 4. So 36th pattern used 148 counters out of the 150. So 2 were left over. So you cannot make the 37th pattern. So if I substitute 37 here, I will need more than 150 counters. So 37 into 4 and then plus 4. So I need 152 counters if I want to make pattern number 37. So the largest possible pattern that can be made from 150 counters is pattern number 36, which uses 148 counters, and you are left with 2 counters out of the 150 which are not used. So your value of P, which is the largest pattern possible, is 36. The fourth term in a different sequence is 26. This sequence is linear and the eighth term is 2. Find the first term of this sequence. So you have a sequence, let's call it value number, value number, and the actual value. So first value, you're given that the fourth term, or let's call it term number. So fourth term, 1, 2, 3, fourth term is 26 in this sequence, and the eighth term is 2. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Eighth term is 2. So that means it's a decreasing sequence because your values are going down, and here you have eighth value 2, fourth value 26. And you're given that the sequence is linear. That means there is a constant difference between each value. Let's call this difference x. So you're subtracting x each time, minus x, and then you subtract x again to get the next value, subtract x again, and then subtract x again to get to the eighth value. So you're given your fourth term is 26, eighth term is 2, and your sequence is linear, meaning you're subtracting a constant value each time to get to the next number in the sequence. So I can form an equation here. So I have 26 minus how many x? 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 4x will give me the eighth term, which is 2. So let's find this constant difference between each term. So minus 4x will be 2 minus 26, which is minus 24. Minus and minus cancel out. X will be 4 times 6, so 6. So each time you are subtracting 6 here. Minus 6, minus 6, minus 6. In this direction, that means if I go from here to here, I'm adding 6 in the opposite direction. So the first term will be 26 plus this 6 plus this 6 plus this 6. So how many 6 I'm adding here? 6 plus 6, 12 plus 6, 18. So 26 plus 18 is 44. So the first term here is 44. This is 44. And then you're subtracting 6 each time to get the next term in the sequence. So 44 minus 6 will be 38 will be your second term, and so on. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term in this sequence. So again, let's look at the term number and its value. So the first term is what? 44. Second term is what? You subtract 6 out of it. Third term is what? You subtract 6 from the second term. So second term is 44 minus 6 and then you subtract another 6. Fourth term is you subtract 6 from the third term. Again, as in the previous part, how many times you subtract 6? Here you have 3 times, which is 1 less than the term number. Here you are subtracting 6 2 times, which is 1 less than the term number. So nth term will be 44 minus 6. How many times you'll subtract 6? 1 less than the term number. So nth term here, if you keep going, and nth term you will have 44 minus 6 into n minus 1. This is 44 into, oh sorry, minus 6 into 3, because this was the fourth term. So for the nth term, you will have 44 minus 6 times n minus 1. So 6 times n minus 1. So 44 minus 6n plus 6. 44 plus 6 will be 50 minus 6n. So your answer here will be 50 minus 6n. Question number 5, part A. The mass of 4 cards and 3 envelopes is 85 gram and mass of 2 cards and 5 envelopes is 67 gram. Form a pair of simultaneous equations and solve them to find the mass of one card and the mass of one envelope. So let's say mass of one card equals to C grams, and similarly mass of one envelope equals to E. So now you have 4 cards, so 4 times C plus 3 envelopes, 3 times E equals to 85 gram. And then you have 2 cards, 2 times C plus 5 envelopes. The mass is 67 gram. So I have these two equations that I can solve simultaneously to find the value of C and E. So let's multiply the second equation by 2 and then we can subtract it from the first equation to eliminate the variable C. So let me rewrite these equations. 4C plus 3E equals to 85. And then if I multiply this equation by 2, I will get 4C plus 10E equals to 67 times 2. 134. Now since I'm subtracting, all of these signs will be flipped. 4C minus 4C is 0. 3 minus 10 will be minus 7. E equals to 85 minus 134, which is minus 49. Minus and minus cancel out. E will be equals to 7. And then I'll substitute E. Let's substitute it here in the first equation. So 4C plus 3E. E is 7 now, equals to 85. 4C will be 85 minus 21. So 85 minus 21 and then divided by 4. So this is 16. So your mass of one card is 16 gram and one envelope is 7 grams. Factorize x square minus 25. So this I can write as x square minus 5 square. Then I can use the formula a square minus b square equals to a plus b x plus 5 into a minus b, so x minus 5. So x plus 5 into x minus 5. Rearrange the formula to make t the subject. To make t the subject, let's take this and multiply here. Rt minus 5r will equals to 2t. And then let's bring this term with t on one side and the rest of the terms on the other side. So rt minus 2t will equals to 5r, and then take t common. R minus 2 equals to 5r. So t will be equals to 5r over r minus 2. So 5r over r minus 2. expressed as a single fraction in its simplest form. So you'll take the LCM. LCM will be the product of these two denominators. So x minus 5 multiplied by 2x plus 1. So this 4 will be multiplied by 2x plus 1 minus 3. This 3 will be multiplied by x minus 5. So let's open the brackets. 8x plus 1, sorry, plus 4 minus 3x plus 15 over x minus 5 into 2x plus 1, and then 8x minus 3x will be 5x, 15 plus 4 will be 19, and divide by x minus 5 into 2x plus 1. So 5x plus 19 over x minus 5 into 2x plus 1. Question number 6, part A. Asma has this fair 8-sided spinner. She spins the spinner once. Find the probability that the score is 6. So there are 8 sides, total sides, and we are looking for probability that the score is 6. So how many of the 8 sides have score 6? Only one. So your probability here will be 1 over 8, because there is just one 6 out of the possible 8 different sides that this spinner can land on. So 1 over 8 is the probability that you can get a 6. What is the probability that you do not get a 2? Not 2. So what are the possible outcomes? 1, 6, 1, not 2. So this one and this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of the 8 are not 2. So your probability that the score is not 2 is 5 over 8. Asma spins the spinner twice. Find the probability that she scores two twos. So that means probability that she gets a 2 first. On the first spin she gets 2, and on the second spin she also gets a 2. So which is equals to probability of 2 multiplied by probability of getting a 2. So she spins the first time. What is the probability of getting a 2? How many 2's are there? 1, 2, 3. So 3 out of 8 are 2. So your probability of getting a 2 is 3 by 8. And then she spins it second time. Again, the probability of getting 2 is 3 by 8. So this is 9 over 64. So 9 over 64. Leon has 7 red, 6 green, and 3 white counters. He takes 2 counters at random without replacement. Find the probability that the 2 counters are the same color. So you have 7 reds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 reds, 6 greens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 greens, and 3 white. 1, 2, 3. 3 whites. So he takes 2 counters at random without replacement. Probability that 2 counters are same color. So probability both same color. So how can you get same color? You can get either both reds. So probability that you get red the first time and red on your second pick as well. Or you can also have probability that you get green the first time and green the second time as well. Or the third possible way of getting same color is you get white the first time and white the second time. So these are the 3 possible cases that you get both reds, or you get both greens, or you get both whites. In the end, you will have 2 counters with the same color. So probability of red and red. What is the probability of red and red? So on the first try, what is the probability that you will get a red? You have 7 reds, and how many total are there? Total 7 plus 3, 10 plus 6, 16 total in the bag. So probability that when you're picking the first one, what is the probability that you will get a red? 7 over 16. And then you pick a second one. What is the probability that the second one is also red? So you've picked one red. How many are remaining reds? 6. And how many total in the bag are remaining now? 15. So the probability will be 6 remaining reds out of the total 15 that are remaining in the bag. Remember, this is without replacement. So when you pick the first one, you do not put it back into the bag. You keep it outside and then you pick the second one. So this is the probability that you get a red the first time and red the second time. Or, so plus, what is the probability that you get a green the first time? 6 green out of the total 16. 6 out of total 16. And now what is the probability that the second one is also green? So you have picked one green. How many green are left? 5 now. And how many total are left? 15. So the probability that second is also green is 5 over 15. And now odd the third case where you have both whites. So plus probability that the first one is white. 3 whites out of total 16. So 3 over 16 is the probability that you pick the first one white. And what is the probability that you get the second one white as well? So you picked the first one which was white. So now you're left with 2 whites and you're left with 15 total. So 2 over 15 will be the probability here. So 2 over 15 is the probability that you get the second white as well. So now let's calculate. 7 times 6 is 42. 15 times 16 is 240. Plus 30 over 240 plus 6 over 240. So if you add them, 42 plus 30 plus 6, 78 over 240. I can cancel by 3. 3 times 2, 6, 118. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 8 is 24 and then 0. Then I can divide by 2. 2 ones are 2, 2 threes are 6 and then 40. So 13 over 40 is the simplest form. So this is the probability that if you pick two counters without replacement, both of them will be of the same color. So 13 over 40. Question 7, part A. P is the point -5, 2, Q is the point 3, 7. You're given vector QR. Find the coordinates of midpoint of PQ. So midpoint will be simply you add the x coordinates of P and Q and then divide by 2 and do the same with y. 2 plus 7 over 2. So this is -2 divided by 2 is -1. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Find the coordinates of R. So you're given vector QR. You know the coordinates of Q. So vector QR is given by position vector OR minus the position vector OQ. So QR is -4 and 6. OR is unknown. That's what we want to calculate. OQ is 3 and 7. So this will give you OR. If I take this to the other side, this will be plus. So -4 plus 3 will be -1. And 6 plus 7 would be 13. So position vector OR is -1, 13. So coordinates of R are -1 and 13. Magnitude of QR will be, QR is this, -4 square plus 6 square and square root. So this will be 4 square is 16, 6 square is 36, and square root of this will be 7.21 units up to 3 significant figures. Part B is you're given a quadrilateral. These vectors A, this is B. OA is 2 times BC. So OA is twice BC. So BC will be OA over 2. If you take this 2 to the other side, it will be divided here. So if this is A, BC will be A over 2. And then you have BN ratio NA 1 ratio 3. So BN, this is 1 parts and NA is 3 parts. So this is 1 and this is 3, and the total length is 4 parts. So this is divided into 1:3 like this. If the total is 4 parts, this is 1 part, this is 3 parts. Find in terms of A and B in its simplest form vector AB. So AB is this. I can use the head to tail rule. AB will be AO plus OB. AO plus OB. AO would be minus A because A is in this direction. So in this direction, it will be minus A plus OB is B. So it is minus A plus B. Minus A plus B. NC. NC is NB plus BC. So you know BC. NB is unknown. But I know that AB is this. So NB is 1 out of the 4 total parts. So NB here is 1 over full length 4. So we are given here 1:3. This makes it 1 part. This is 3 parts and total is 4 parts. So NB is 1/4 of this vector AB. And you have calculated AB in the previous part. So this is minus A plus B over 4. So now NC will be NB plus BA. Oh, sorry, BC. NB plus BC. NB plus BC. So NB is this minus A plus B over 4 plus BC is A over 2. So let's take the LCM here. LCM will be 4 minus A plus B as it is. So this will become 2A plus 2A. So 2A minus A will be A. So A plus B over 4. A plus B over 4. Or if you want to separate it out, you can also write it as 1 over 4A plus 1 over 4B. Both answers are correct. Question number 8. You're given volume of cone, cross surface area is this. The diagram shows a paper cup in the shape of a cone. The diameter is 7, volume is 110. Show that the height h, this height, is 8.57. Correct to 2 decimal places. So you know that volume of cone is 1/3 pi r square h equals to volume of cone. So 1/3 into pi into what is the radius? If the diameter is 7, radius is 3.5 square into h is unknown and you are given volume 110. So let's solve for h here. So 3.5 square into pi and then divided by 3. So this is 12.8 to 12.82817 h equals to 110. So this is being multiplied here. If I want to calculate h, I will divide it in the denominator. So 110 divided by 12.82817. So this is 8.57 centimeter up to 2 decimal places. So up to 2 decimal places, this is 8.57 here. Calculate the slant height L centimeter of the cup. So slant height is this. If you look at this right angle triangle, this is also L. We know H is 8.57 and this is the radius from center till this edge. So diameter is 7. So this length here is 3.5. So I can use the Pythagoras theorem on this right angled triangle to find my slant height L. So L square, the hypotenuse square will be equal to 8.57 square plus 3.5 square. 8.57 square plus 3.5 square. So L will be square root of this 8.57 square plus 3.5 square plus 3.5 square and then square root of this. So this will be 9.26 centimeter up till three significant figures. So 9.26. Part C is the cup is cut along this line OA. So it's opened up into this sector of a circle with center O and angle x degree. Calculate the value of x. So if you cut along this line and open it up, this becomes a sector. So the area of this sector, which is this area, is the same as the curved surface area of this cone. And so pi RL for this cone, pi RL equals to curved surface area of cone, which is also equal to the sector area of this sector with angle x degree. So let's first find the curved surface area of the cone. Curved area of the cone equals to pi RL, same as before. So pi into radius was 3.5, and what was the slant height L? It's 9.26 into 9.26. So this is pi. So let me actually find it in terms of pi because it will cancel out later. 3.5 into 9.26. So this is 32.41 pi. If you want, you can calculate the value and multiply this by pi and calculate the actual value, but you'll see why I left this pi here in a minute. So now what's the surface area of this sector? Area of sector is equals to the curved surface area of cone is equals to curved area of cone. So what is the area of sector? The formula is the angle, which is x over 360 into pi into r square. Now what is this radius r of this sector? This is the length AO, which is this length AO, which is the slant height L, and L was 9.26. So my radius here is 9.26 for this sector. This is 9.26. So pi r square, 9.26 square. Curved area of cone is 32.41. 32.41 pi. So now this pi and pi cancel out. That's why I left this pi here before. So x will be 32.41. This 360 will be multiplied in the numerator, and this 9.26 square will be divided in the denominator here. So let's calculate this. Multiplied by 360 divided by 9.26 square. So this is 136.069. So angles, we can write up till one decimal place, 136.1 degree. So your angle X is 136.1. A second paper cup is mathematically similar to the cup with the volume 110 centimeter cube. The volume of the second cup is 165. Calculate the diameter of the top of the second cup. So you have this original cup which has volume 110 centimeter cube, this one which was given before. So you have this which has this diameter 7 and volume 110 centimeter cube. Now this other cone Maybe it's a little bigger because the volume is greater. So this volume is 165 centimeter cube, and you have to find the diameter. So let's call this diameter D. And we are told that these are similar. So that means the ratio of their volumes will equal to the cube of the ratio of their one of their corresponding sides, which is the diameters here, since we are interested in diameter. So the ratio of their volumes will equal to the cube of the ratio of their diameters. So let's look at this cone. This diameter is D divided by the diameter of the other cone, which is 7. So this gives us the ratio. And if we take the cube of this, because we are given the volumes, so we are taking cube here. So D is in the numerator. So what is the volume of the cone? It will be in the numerator 165, and the volume of the other cone is 110. So now we have to find D here. So D will be cube root of this. If I take this cube to the other side, 165 divided by 110, and then take the cube root. And then if I take the 7, 7 will be multiplied like this. So 165 divided by 110. And then I have to take the cube root here. So cube root will be power 1 over 3. Oh, sorry. So cube root, let me do this again, 165 divided by 110. And taking the cube root, I'll just take the power to be 1 over 3, which is the same as taking a cube root, and then multiplied by 7. So your answer is 8.01. Diameter is 8.01 centimeters. So this is the diameter of this other cone, which has the volume 165 centimeter cube. So up till three significant figures, this is 8.01 centimeters. Question number 9. The diagram shows an open box in the shape of a cuboid. The height of the box is x. The width of the box is 5 centimeter more than its height. So if its height is x, width is 5 more. So this will be x plus 5. And the length of the box is 2 times its width. So your length here is 2 times the width, which is x plus 5. Write down expression in terms of x for the width and length of the box. So your width is x plus 5 and length is twice of that. So this is 2 times x plus 5. The external surface area of the open box is 210. Form an equation in x and show that it simplifies to this. So let's find the external surface area. So let's look at this right hand side here. It is a rectangle with one side x plus 5 and the other side x. So the area of this side will be x times x plus 5. And since the right hand side is similar to this left hand side, left face of this cuboid, I will multiply it by 2. So I have the right face area and the left face area. So now let's look at the front. So the front, one side is 2 into x plus 5, 2 into x plus 5, and the other side is this one, which is x multiplied by x. So this is the area of the front, and the back has the same area as well. So I will again multiply this by 2. So now I have the area of right and left face, front and back face. Now I need the area of this bottom side. Remember, this is an open box. So the top side is open, so it won't be included in calculating the external surface area. So what is the area of this base bottom? It is, so I'll add it here. This side is 2 into x plus 5, and this side is x plus 5 as well. So this is the area of the base, and I will not multiply it by 2 because the top is open, so that's not part of the external surface area. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 faces. So 2 faces right and left, 2 faces front and back, and 1 bottom. And if you add the surface area of all, it should equal to the external surface area of this open box, which is 210. So now let's simplify this equation, and we'll show that it simplifies to this expression. So if I multiply this inside, I'll get 2x squared plus 10x plus, so this is 2x, so 4x. 4x is being multiplied by x plus 5. So this will be 4x squared plus 20x plus this will become 2 into x plus 5 whole square equals to 210. So 2x squared plus 4x squared, 6x squared plus 30x plus 2 times, I'll open this square, so this will become x squared plus 10x plus 25. And let's bring this 210 here, minus 210 equals to 0. We'll open this bracket, so this will be as it is. Plus 2x squared plus 20x plus 50 minus 210 equals to 0. This will become 8x squared plus 50x plus 50 minus 210. So this is minus 160 equals to 0. So I can divide by 2 on both sides of the equation. So 8 divided by 2 will be 4x squared plus 25x minus 80, and then 0 divided by 2 is 0. So basically I've multiplied by 1 over 2 on this side and multiplied by 1 over 2 on this side to simplify this expression into this form that is given: 4x squared plus 25x minus 80 equals to 0. Part C is you have to solve the equation giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So I'll use the quadratic formula to find the value of x. So you will have minus b here is 25, plus minus square root of b square minus 4 into AC. A is 4, C is minus 80, divided by 2 times A here is 4. So x equals to minus 25 plus square root of something over 8, or x equals to minus 25 minus square root of something divided by 8. So let's calculate the value inside the square root. So you have 25 square minus 4 into minus 80, which is 1905. So minus 25 plus square root of 1905 and then divided by 8. So this is 2.33 up till 2 decimal place, and minus 25 minus square root of 1905 divided by 8. So this is 8.58, negative 8.58 up till 2 decimal places. So 2.33 or minus 8.58. Calculate the volume of the box. So volume is length into width into height. So what is your length? Your length now is 2 times x plus 5. So your length is 2 times x plus 5. So your x value is 2.33. Your length cannot be a negative value. Or in fact, if you look at this, height is x. So your x value cannot be negative because your height of a cuboid cannot be a negative value. So we will use the positive value of x. So your length will be 2.33 x, 2 into x plus 5. So 2.33 plus 5 multiplied by width is x plus 5. So this is 2.33 plus 5 multiplied by height, which is x, multiplied by 2.33. So this will be the volume. So 5 plus 2.33 is 7.33. 2 into 7.33 into this 7.33, 7.33 multiplied by 2.33. So your volume here is 250.377, and if I have to write it up to three significant figures, this will be 250 centimeter cube. Part E is the box is filled with chocolates. The mass of the chocolates is 250 grams, correct to the nearest 10 grams. So error here will be 10 divided by 2, which is 5. The mass of the box and chocolates is 262, correct to the nearest gram. So error here will be 1 by 2, which is, so nearest gram means 1 gram, and then you divide by 2 to get 0.5. Calculate the lower bound mass of the box. So you know that the mass of box and chocolates, so let's call it total mass. So mass of box and chocolates total mass is equals to mass of box plus the mass of chocolates. So in the question you have to find the lower bound for the mass of the box. So let's make mass of the box the subject of this equation. So mass, so I'm bringing this to the other side. So mass of box will become equals to total mass minus the mass of chocolates. Now you have to find the lower bound mass of box. So what will be the lower bound mass of box? So we have to find the minimum possible value, which is the lower bound. So to calculate the minimum possible value, how will I have the minimum? If this value is minimum and I'm subtracting this from this, so I have to subtract the maximum possible number from the smallest possible value to get the smallest possible mass of box. So to find the lower bound mass of box, I will take the lower bound total mass, lower bound. So basically I'm trying to minimize the result of this subtraction. So how can I have the minimum result? By taking the smallest possible value and subtracting the maximum possible value. So what is the minimum possible value? It is the lower bound total mass minus the upper bound chocolate's mass. So what is the lower bound total mass? You're given the total mass is 262, correct to the nearest gram. So the lower bound total will be 262. So let's call this total lower bound LB will be 262 minus the error in it, which is 0.5. So this is 261.5 is the lower bound total mass, 261.5 minus the upper bound of chocolates mass. So mass of chocolates is 250 gram. So chocolates upper bound will be the mass of chocolates, which is 250 plus the error value, which is 5. So this is 255. So now you're subtracting the upper bound of chocolates mass, which is 255. So 261.5 minus 255. So this is 6.5 grams, which is the lower bound mass of the box. 6.5 grams. Question number 10. ABCD is a field on horizontal ground. The bearing of B from A is 70 degrees. Bearing of B from A is this value here. This is 70 degrees. The bearing of D from A is 125. So this value here is 125 degrees. C is due south of B. So this is south of B and east of D. So that's why there is a 90-degree angle. So this is south and this is east of D here. This is 290 meters, 350 meters. Calculate the bearing of D from B. Bearing of D from B. So if I draw a north line here, so this is the north line. The bearing of D from B is this angle. So try to draw it straight. So this is the angle we want to calculate. So if I look at, I cannot find this angle. If I can find this angle, I can. So I know that this angle up till here is 180 degrees because C is south of B. And if I add this angle, I can find the bearing. But this is not possible since I only know one side of this triangle. So let's look at the other side. So if this is 70 degrees, this is the north line, this is the north line, they are parallel. And we know that sum of interior angles of two parallel lines is 180 degrees. So this angle here will be, let's call this Y. So if it is Y plus this 70 is 180 degrees. So Y will be 110. So this angle here is 110 degrees, right? And if I can find this angle now, I can subtract from 360 degrees. I can subtract this angle and this angle. This remaining angle will be the bearing. So using this triangle ABD, I can easily find this angle. This angle will be 125 minus 70. So the angle BAD is 125. This is full angle 125 minus this angle 70 degrees will give me the remaining angle BAD. So 125 minus 70 is 125 minus 70 is 55 degrees. So this angle here is 55 degrees. So now I can use the sine rule to find this angle ABD. So sine of angle ABD divided by the length of the side opposite to that angle. So the opposite side is this, which is 290, equals to sine of this angle 55, angle BAD, divided by the side length of the side that is opposite, which is this side BD, divided by 350. So this will give me ABD. So let's calculate this. Sine of 55 divided by 350. And then if I take this 290, it will be multiplied on the other side. So multiplied by 290. And then this will be, ABD will be the sine inverse of this. So sine inverse of 0.6787. So let's take the sine inverse of this. So this is 42.744. So this angle here is 42.744. Now I can find the bearing. So bearing of D from B will equal, so this full angle is 360 degrees, 360 minus this angle minus this angle. So minus 42.744 minus 110. So 360 minus 110 minus 42.744. So this gives you 207.256, which I can write as 207.3 degrees up to 1 decimal place. Part B is a vertical mast is positioned at D. The angle of elevation of the top of the mast from A is 10 degrees. Calculate the angle of elevation of the top of the mast from C. So you have a vertical mast. So if I look at, so let me just erase these. So I have a vertical mast that is positioned at D. So this is vertical, and the angle of elevation of the top from A. So angle of elevation, this angle is 10 degrees, and you have to calculate the angle of elevation of this top of the mast from point C. So this is the angle that you are interested in. So if I, let's call this top of the mast V, vertical mast V. So this is also 90 degree, because since D is vertically above in 3D, three dimensions, so this here is 90 degree, and this here is also 90 degrees. So triangle AVD is a right angled triangle, and triangle VDC is also a right angled triangle. Um Now if I look at this, so we have to find this angle here. This is the one that needs to be calculated. So if I look at this right angle triangle CDV, it's a right angle triangle. If I can find any two sides of this triangle, I can use sine, cosine, or tan to get this angle. So this side is common between these two triangles. I know this angle, I know this side, so I can easily find this length dv here, right? So dv sine of 10, sine of 10, in fact tan of 10, because this is the perpendicular, this is the base. So tan of 10 will be dv perpendicular over 290. So this will give you dv equals to uh, tan of 10 multiplied by 290. So this is 51.135 meters. So I know now this length is 51.135. So this side is known now. Can I find any other sides? So I can look at this DC. So if I look at this triangle, uh, BDC, I can find this angle easily. If I know this angle and I know this side, so let me redraw this triangle BDC outside. BDC is this angle like this. This side is 350. This is a right angle triangle, so this is B, this is D, this is C. This angle, what will be this angle? Since C is south of B, I know that this angle is 180 degree. I know the bearing up till this point. So if I subtract 180 from my bearing that I calculated, the bearing of D from B, I can get this angle. So your angle DBC. So angle DBC will be equals to this bearing of D from B, which is 207.3, 207.3 minus 180. So this is 207.3 minus 180 is 27.3. 27.3 degrees. So this angle here is 27.3 degree. Now I can find this length DC. How? This is perpendicular over hypotenuse. So sine. So sine of 27.3 equals to perpendicular, which is DC, over hypotenuse, which is this, which is 350. So this will give me DC equals to sine of 27.3 multiplied by 350, which is 160.53. So this side here is 160.53. or this side here is 160.53. Now if I look at this triangle VDC, let me redraw it here. So this is my angle triangle VDC. This side is 51.135. This is the right angle. This side is 160.53. And this is the angle of elevation of the top of this vertical mast from the point C. So this is the angle, let's call it theta. So this is the angle that I am interested in. So I know the two sides, it's a right angle triangle. So this is the perpendicular and this is the base. So it will be tan. So tan of theta will be equals to this perpendicular 51.135 divided by the base, which is 160.53. So theta will be uh, tan inverse of this. So I did like most of my working here at the top. I should have done it in this part, but you get the idea. So 51.135 divided by 160.53. This is 0.3185, and if I take the tan inverse of this, I will get my angle of elevation, which is 17.67, or up to one decimal place, this will be 17.7 degree. So your answer here will be 17.7 degree is your angle of elevation of the top of the mast from point C. So this is the end of the paper. This was the last question.